morning. All right, so we are starting a new series on healing. It's time to heal, don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be looking at how we can heal today, how we can heal through thought to have a greater connection with God. Because isn't that our goal, is to have that, be in that oneness with God? And we get a lot of distractions in our life that keep us from doing that sometimes. Sometimes it's not so easy, is it? All right, so are you committed to heal? Okay, all right. So that's what this month's going to be about. All right, so what is healing? First of all, is healing is lifting from one level of consciousness to a higher level of consciousness to restore wholeness. Pretty simple, right? We're in a process of healing, we're continually healing and lifting and healing and lifting, right? Okay. And do you believe that you can heal through thought? Okay. Yeah, great. Everyone pretty much? Yeah? Okay, good. All right. And that you can think a healing thought for yourself and be healed, and perhaps a healing thought for somebody else. Okay. So let's look at our thoughts for a moment. So what are thoughts? Thoughts are neurons in our brain that fire up and create electrical impulses. And these impulses tend to travel along similar pathways, and they release tiny chemicals called neurotransmitters along the way. And each time you have a repeated experience, whether negative or positive, be it a thought about yourself, you deepen the neural grooves in your brain. So it creates that pathway. I know this way. Okay. And what are neurotransmitters? Neurotransmitters serve several functions, such as they regulate appetite, mood, your sleep and wake cycle, whether you're happy, depressed, anxious, joyful. And we know, Patrick mentioned last week, that most of our thoughts are repetitive, right? We have 60,000 thoughts a day, and 80% or so are negative. And 95% of those are exactly the same as the day before. Isn't it? I know, but I said, well, I'm going to watch my thoughts this week since I'm doing the service on thoughts. And so I wrote down my thoughts. And at the end of the week, there was nothing there because the thoughts are so scattered. They come in, they're like this, like I went to sleep thinking about frogs. Like, why? You know, it's like you can't sit and write them down because they're firing so that's electrical spark, like a storm. You know, where we live, we get to see the sky most directions. And there's been a few storms this week. And you see that lightning just crack and fire. And it was a vision for me this week about our brain, about that storm. So in our brain, we are creating all those electrical impulses that are firing, and they're creative. And they're creative to the point that we focus on them. So where are our thoughts coming from? Are they coming from a place of fear, lack, or are they coming from a place of love, safety, abundance, joy? So according to statistics, we kind of know where they're coming from. And these are seemingly invisible, right? This invisible energy is creating the grooves that's affecting your biology. So our thoughts become beliefs, and our beliefs become biology. We've heard that before, right? And what are those thoughts. I'm not even talking about our critical thinking, logically thinking thoughts, processing thoughts. I'm talking about the thoughts that are kind of under our breath. All the things we have to do and all the judgments about doing them. Maybe they're thoughts about other people and what they should be doing, or what they're not doing, or what's happening in the world. Or do you go down the rabbit hole? You start thinking about one thing. We think about the worst case scenario that would happen. And we find ourselves just being drawn. We anticipate or assume what other people may be thinking about us, or what they may be doing. Am I the only one? Okay.
Yes, you're
I'm the only one. Okay. We project the worst. We rehash old mistakes. We rehash old mistakes. The if-onlys. If only. If only. Then there's judgments about our bodies, which is probably more of a woman thing. I'm serious. I'm too fat. I can't wear that. My arms are showing. Oh, what are people going to think? Oh, if only, if only, if only. And we have these negative thoughts about ourselves, which are creating these grooves. And sometimes we have to talk ourselves off the ledge. And this is all internally, and can happen like that. And probably most of us catch us and go, okay, no, that's not doing that. So, my son was 8 or 9, 25 years ago, in 3rd grade or something, and he came home one day, and he was very upset. I said, what's the matter? Someone got in trouble today. For what? For saying the S word. The S word? Yeah. What S word? You know, the S word. And I said, I know a lot of S words. What S are you talking about? Stupid. And at first I thought, well, that's no big deal. But he was very shooken by it. Like, it made a big impression that you can't be saying stupid or calling people stupid. And it was pretty funny. And at first, back then, I was like, what's the big deal? But, wow, what a big deal. What a big deal. What a big deal. And how often do we call ourselves stupid? How often do we call, oh, that was stupid, or you're dumb, or all this self-talk? And I'm not saying that we do this all the time, but you know most of our thoughts are repetitive and are negative. So we can't expect things to change when we keep judging them. You can't hate yourself then. You can't. You can't. So it's like we need to change that thought. So if we just started changing those S-word stupid thoughts about ourselves and about others and about situations that we're not even voicing to anybody, but we're not voicing them, but they're still creating that storm, aren't they? So maybe we can start by changing that word and thought to silly. What if I start thinking about things I could have done, or old hash things, and say, well, that was just silly. That was silly. Because aren't we just here experimenting anyways? We get another chance to do things. So if we took the S of stupid and made it silly, can you feel the difference in your brain already? Well, that was just silly. Oh, they yelled at me. They're just silly. They didn't mean it. Oh, I didn't mean it. Silly. Why am I having these thoughts of whatever they are? That's silly. Let's get back on track, Cheryl. Silly. That's silly. Okay. So I want you to right now think of something. Just close your eyes. And I want you to think of something that you can replace with that was silly. Okay? Everybody have something? Could you feel the difference in your brain and difference in how you feel? Okay. Because we're energy, our body, we are energy beings, so our thoughts are creative. And we live and breathe in the unified field. The unified field is all of our consciousness and race consciousness. So all of our thoughts and beliefs are in this field of energy, and so is everyone else's. So our thoughts are contributing to the energy in which you live and everybody else lives. Breathe. Don't feel too responsible. It's silly. Okay. So how that works is our thoughts impinge upon the field, and they are instantaneously available in there for anyone to feel, sense, see. Okay? So they don't really travel, they're instant. Instantly impinging. Breathe. And so are they really, the thoughts you're having, are they really all your thoughts? The same thing happens in our body. We develop trigger points. We have a pain, and there becomes a hypersensitive spot in the muscle because the nerve has traveled there. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. And so the electrical impulses are creating that pathway that this is the way I go all the time, whether it hurts or not. When there's another stimuli, that's how the nerves are going to flow. And so in order to stop that, you have to it's called ischemic pressure. You press on it and you're blocking all information. You're putting it on pause for a minute so that it could reset. There has to be a stillness in order to reroute the nerve pathway. Okay? And so if you think about how did Jesus calm the storm? Peace. Peace, be still. Be still. There needs to be a pause in order to shift. So just take a moment. I want you to close your eyes. And in trigger point therapy, it takes 8 to 10 seconds. And I want you to just let your mind be still. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. Okay. Take a breath. Do you feel your brain more at peace? Can you feel your thoughts shift? In 10 seconds. 10 seconds. In the Aquarian Gospel, Jesus healed my thought. I'll just read it here. It's Aquarian Gospel 84, 14 through 26. And Jesus was praying, and as he sat in silent mood, a voice of soul spoke to his soul, imploring help. And Jesus saw a woman on a couch in sore distress, for she was sick nigh unto death. She could not speak, but she heard that Jesus was a man of God, and in her heart she called on him for help. And Jesus helped. He did not speak, but like a flash of light, a mighty virtue from his soul filled full the body of the dying one. And she arose and joined her kindred while they prayed. Her kindred were astonished, and they said to her, "How were you healed?" And she replied, "I don't know. I simply asked the man of God in thought for healing power, and in a moment I was well." The people said, "The gods have surely come to earth, for man has not the power to heal by thought." But Jesus said, "The greatest power in heaven and earth is thought." God made the universe by thought. He paints the lily and the rose with thought. Well, I think it's strange that I should send a healing thought and change the ethers of disease and death to those of health and life. Lo, you shall see far greater things than this, for by the power of holy thought, my body will be changed from carnal flesh to spirit form, and so will yours. And then Jesus disappeared, and he rejoined them later. Pretty powerful. Healing thought. A thought is impinged, and it can instantly be responded to. So healing through holy thought. How can we have our thoughts be holy to change our perceptions? Because our goal is focusing on our connection with God, right? So how can those sparks that are flying around be love-based and God-based? In Matthew 6:22, Jesus is speaking, and he says, "The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, the whole body should be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is thy darkness?" If thine eye be single, if we focus on God, focus on the Christ, focus on love, that is changing our pathways, making them positive, because what we focus on is going to amplify within us, right? What you focus on expands. So if we focus on light in God, then we are healing our thoughts and healing our body. And we're creating energy in the unified field in which we live. Right? Okay. So keep thought, if thine eye be single. And you say, well, how can I focus on God all day, every moment? And you don't have to, but if you start your day focusing on God, that sets up the rest of the day. And if we take moments, let my eye be single. And we all believe in the omnis of God, right? The omniscience, the omnipresent, the omnipotent. And most religions do. God is everywhere. God is all-powerful. God is all-knowing. If God is everywhere, then we can access that anywhere, anytime. It's just we got to remember, let me turn my focus there. When things are looking like we might want to judge them, we can take a breath. We can be silent for 10 seconds and focus on God, focus on the Christ. Another S word, single. Let your eye be single. So just close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to imagine a brilliant column of light coming over your brain, your body, your head. This is holy thought. and allow holy thought to penetrate. Feel the energy behind your eyes, and just imagine that third eye just glowing. With light, seeing with the eyes of God. Changing your perception. Flooding all the neurons. And in an instant, with our thought, we can shift. And just open your eyes. Can you start to feel like an activity in your brain or around the top of your head where the creative sparks are changing? In Jesus, Teacher, Healer, before I get that, I think it shows the importance of coming together to church. We come together and we're here for a limited time, and our focus is on God, focus is on healing, focus is on the Christ. On Tuesday night, you can come back and there's another focus on God and healing. The more that we put ourselves into places where we are aligning our thoughts with God, the easier it will be to build new pathways. Right? It's like, because what are we focusing on all the time? We're on Facebook or YouTube or looking at silly things, and there's nothing wrong with that because we're having fun. But put a conscious thought about how do I say it? Focusing more on spirit. In Jesus, Teacher, Healer, in the spirit life, when the soul passes onward, everything depends on the thought life. If the thoughts are good and then speech and actions will be good. In this way, the soul creates beauty for itself and others to enjoy. Everything begins with thought, so it is essential that thoughts are pure, humble, harmonious, and that such thoughts are sent out to create harmony in life. In your physical life, even if you are living in difficult conditions, if you remain harmonious within yourself, you are creating harmony. These harmonious thoughts will spread, and you will be surprised at what can be done on earth by the infiltration of this spiritual light and brotherhood. It's very powerful. Our inner work is palpable in the outer. And that's pretty cool, isn't it? It's pretty cool. And so the more we think, and I know I know we're all conscious of responding and maybe not saying what we think sometimes because we're trying to be good, like biting your tongue or lip, like fake it till you make it. And that's good. But those sparks are still creating a little storm in there. And good for you for doing that anyways. But we got to start someplace, right? So sometimes it's harder to change our thoughts than our actions sometimes. But if we could really change our thoughts, then the actions would follow. Okay. So 3 simple things. Shift to silly. Don't be critical. Be in the stillness. When things get hairy, count to 10. Peace be still. And keep thine eye single. Keep thine eye single. And then we will have healing thoughts and healing through thoughts. Okay? Let's put our feet on the ground and anchor this in. God, we ask that a column of your love and light pour over us, this entire group and all who hear my words, and each person individually. And in this space, I ask that Jesus the Christ be with us. We ask that the mind that's in Christ be our mind, that our inner ears and our inner eyes be light, that our intention is love, light, wholeness. And we ask to be shown this week and have opportunities where we can shift our focus into the silence, reconnecting with our oneness with you, holding the light and seeing the beauty in all things and in ourselves. We ask for healing for any limiting thoughts that we hold about ourselves and others, that we pause and let it reset, shifting to another higher level of consciousness. We ask that our thoughts be higher, lighter, and freer. And we ask that this be anchored into our consciousness and into our brain and into our body. And we are so grateful, God. So grateful. Let our eyes be light and our whole body be light. And just take a nice deep breath. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes. Look at all those bright eyes. All right, healing through thought, your 3 S's. Maybe that will help you remember this week to shift your thoughts for healing. All right, have a wonderful week.